유엔 영어뉴스 How to make the perfect omelette. A rich and creamy omelette is a test of a young chef's ability in French kitchens. Yves Camdeborde shares his story behind the illustrious dish and best practices for making it. Joining a French restaurant kitchen is a baptism by fire. An apprentice has mere moments to make an impression, and according to Yves Camdeborde, owner of Paris 4 Avant Comptoir restaurants, is frequently given a task whose outward simplicity conceals true technicity. To succeed is to garner favor. To fail is to show one still has much to learn. Such is the role from corner bistros to Michelin-starred dining rooms of the omelette. A French omelette, Camdeborde explained, stands out from versions where fillings are mixed right in with the eggs. We make an envelope, he said. We fill it and we roll. Jump to recipe. The resulting omelette should be pale, white outside, and barbells, literally, drooling within. And Camdeborde should know. In a story he has clearly told many times before, he recalled his certificate d'aptitude professionnelle, CAP, vocational qualification. Apprentices' tasks were set at random, he said, and the 16-year-old Camdeborde was assigned omelette, aux fines, herbs, omelette with herbs. I think I got 17 or 18 out of 20, he said. I was top of my class, thanks to the omelette. His score earned him a spot in the regional Meilleur Apprenti de France, Best Apprentice in France competition, among kids from 2 and 3 Michelin-starred restaurants. I was the only one who came from a little neighborhood bistro, he said. At this competition too, he was randomly assigned the omelette, earning him a spot at the semifinals in Paris. Here, the young apprentice made one last omelette and earned the chance to partake in a final challenge. Alas, the next assignment proved far more onerous. He was tasked with making slow-cooked veal choisy with its white wine sauce and braised lettuce accompaniment, and sole souffle, which is the delicate fish stuffed with a mushroom cream. He had never even heard of the elaborate dishes, much less made them. Upon finishing 9th of 9, he burst into tears, pulling on the heartstrings of the chef de cuisine. Fried lardo gives the omelette soul. He said, listen, it's not a big deal in life. We are always learning. Recalled Camdeborde. If you want, I will hire you. He was the chef of the Ritz. Camdeborde had since cooked at the Michelin-starred Tour d'Argent, revolutionized Parisian dining. As a founding father of the bistronomy movement, and judged 4 seasons of MasterChef France. And it all began with a humble omelette. Of course, his mastery of the dish was no fluke. At 14, in southwestern France, the Pau native had begun his apprenticeship at a local bistro, where omelettes were the house specialty. We had maybe 30 omelettes on the menu, he said, estimating after some quick maths that he must have easily made about 20,000 in his 2 years there. At that point, you can do it with your eyes closed. He begins with fresh eggs, 3 per person. And eggs, he says, need fat. Yves calmed board stirs the eggs gently until they just begin to set. For flavor, ideally, you want pork fat, he said, frying lardo and coppa in a drizzle of oil until just translucent. It gives the dish soul. Only once the fat is rendered, he cautioned, should the eggs be broken. Once you crack them, he said, they liquefy and lose their structure. He whisked the eggs lightly, immediately adding them to the hot fat and stirring gently with a fork until they just began to set. When an egg cooks too much, it loses its creaminess, he explained, and so it was atop still runny eggs that he scattered the filling, in this case crisp charcuterie and a handful of coriander, before the most technical step, rolling. Camdeborde's movements were deft and familiar. Wielding a fork, he lifted one edge of egg, folding it gently over the filling. A small knob of butter slipped beneath to ease the omelette's release. The ends were nudged inwards, much in the manner of folding a burrito. The fork abandoned. Camdeborde smacked the pan handle with his palm to encourage the omelette's continued trajectory, and tilting plate and pan, he let gravity do the rest of the work. The perfect pale pillow rolled out gracefully onto the plate. Once you've mastered it, it doesn't take long, he said, garnishing with the remaining charcuterie. After adding charcuterie and coriander, the omelette is rolled. Modern Parisian menus are perceptibly devoid of omelettes. Many chefs, Camdeborde mused, find the dish too banal. To his mind, however, an omelette is as happy on gingham as linen, as well accompanied by caviar as a bit of lard. But perhaps an omelette is happiest at home. His, after all, are usually destined for his family of 4, often on a Sunday night, in stark contrast to the cross-the-pond penchant for breakfast eggs, a tradition he dubbed very Anglo-Saxon, like eating blood sausage in the morning. On his father's farm, Camdeborde enjoyed dinner omelettes at least once a week, at least, made with eggs from their own chickens and filled with home-canned peas or tomatoes. These omelettes were drizzled with a touch of vanillus vinegar, his father's secret sauce. Such an omelette could easily feed a crowd. Come board recalls his father whisking together as many as 20 eggs with a big enough pan. It would still cook up in mere minutes. There's a festive quality to it, he said with a nostalgic smile. As a teenager, after a night of carousing with rugby friends until the wee hours, I knew I could wake Dad and say, "Dad, there's 10 of us. Could you make us an omelette?" 입에서 calmed board smacks the pan handle to roll the perfect omelette onto the plate. Yves calmed board's omelette recipe by Yves calmed board makes one omelette. Ingredients: 1 teaspoon peanut oil, 3 thin slices lardo, 3 thin slices coppa, 3 eggs, salt and pepper to taste, unsalted butter to taste, 1 small handful chopped coriander, a few drops of vanillus vinegar, optional. Method: Step 1. In a non-stick 25 cm frying pan, heat the peanut oil over medium-low heat. Add the lardo to render the fat, about 2 minutes per side, or until translucent. Remove from the pan and do the same with the coppa. If the meats don't render enough fat, add a touch of butter to the pan. Step 2. Keep the pan over medium-low heat and crack the eggs into a bowl. Whisk gently with a fork until homogeneous. Take care not to over-whisk, as you risk losing the creaminess of the eggs. Season with salt and pepper. Then pour the eggs into the hot fat. With a fork, make delicate circular movements to form large curds of egg in the pan. When the yolks just begin to coagulate, but the omelette is still quite runny, reduce the heat to low and add 2 slices of lardo, 2 of coppa, and the coriander. Using a fork, gently fold the edge of the omelette around the filling. After one fold, add a touch of butter to the pan and tilt the pan so that the butter runs under the omelette. Use the fork to fold the edges of the omelette in, like folding the edges of a burrito, and then use the palm of your hand to bang on the pan handle and unstick the omelette. Step 3. Place the pan's edge over a plate and tilt the plate towards the pan. Finish rolling the omelette directly onto the plate. It should roll all on its own. Step 4. Garnish with the last slices of lardo and coppa and drizzle, if desired, with a few drops of vanillus vinegar. Tip: Butter is a fine stand-in for vegetarian iteration, provided it's melted over very low heat.